Hey, everybody. It's
Hi.
a podcast. It's SmartLess, and you have hosts, Sean, Will, Jason. Here it comes.
Here it comes.
Here we go.
Welcome to SmartLess.
Welcome to SmartLess.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to SmartLess.
SmartLess.
You know what I said to Scotty yesterday? I said, you know,
Can we guess? Can we guess what you said to Scotty
Sure,
yesterday?
Will,
yeah.
you go first. I'll go second.
Did you touch my sprinkles? Jay, do you have a guess?
I'm still writing it, but it's somewhere in the Star Wars, Star Trek fight canon.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
No, I said to him, concept cars, they...
Should we put a love seat in the toilet?
No, I said concept cars are such a waste of time because they're such a tease. Like, they're these really cool cars and they never make them. It's
I
like,
know.
why don't they just make them?
Sometimes they do, and they take
They never
pieces
do.
of them.
Now,
I feel like that Tesla super truck, or whatever the hell it is, it looks like an absolute joke rolling around the
Oh, you mean the
roads.
douche identifier?
douche?
We had a
guy.
feeling you were a dick, and now it's confirmed.
yeah, it looks like a silver 80s tank or
It's
something.
just
Yeah.
so
I love it.
distracting.
I love it because you do get to see. You're like, where are all the douchebags? Oh, they're there. There's one there. Then you can just stay away.
It does look like a concept car, and then they went to production on it. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
It's the dumbest.
But some of the concept cars that like all these companies make, they're so cool. And then you're like, well, okay, well, where do you get one of those? And they never make them.
Sure.
It's like couture.
It's like
You know?
it's like
Oh, sorry,
couture.
Jason. Go ahead.
Well, so what they do in the fashion world is they'll go ahead and they'll make stuff just for the fashion show. This Henley, for instance, can't be found.
Jason, I'm gonna and Will, please come by. But you're gonna be in New York. Amanda and Maple are coming over for dinner next week.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
God damn it.
What night?
Wednesday. Come over.
Well, I'm gonna be gone. I'll be gone by then.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Jay, would you say you're at the cutting edge of fashion? By the way, because I noticed you wearing some rag and bone jeans, which reminded me of 2011, and I thought, here's my guy.
Listen, things are great back here in 2011.
So, anyway, listen, we could do this forever, all day, and I'm sure our guest is just riveted by what we're saying. But I
Spellbound,
can tell you something that I am. I'm riveted when she's performing. I am riveted, and by riveted I mean generally laughing the entire time. I think it's so rare it's so special when a performer comes along that just kind of every time you see them, they exceed expectations and then they just surprise you with their comedy. She is somebody who makes you laugh from
So it's
moment
not
one,
Cher.
and then the next, it's not Cher. And she makes you laugh in ways that you're like, and she has that unique thing also of every time you hear a joke, not only are you laughing, you're thinking, I can't believe I didn't think of that. It's so brilliant. And she keeps topping herself. She's had a million specials. She had a new special. Sorry?
What color is her hair?
Well, you'll see.
I was gonna guess.
She has a new special that just came out on HBO Max or whatever they call it on May 11th, but she really, really rocketed herself this year in the ultimate roast of Tom Brady. You guys, it's the none other than the most hilarious Nikki Glaser.
Oh my God.
Nikki Glaser.
There she is.
Good morning.
Hi,
Hi. Wait, are you
What
in
an
the
intro.
are you in the back of a coffee shop?
Where are you?
She's
I'm at the
watching on a
Comedy
huge
Store podcast studio.
Truly?
Oh.
No, really?
I'm visiting LA, and I wasn't going to fuck around with you guys. I wasn't going to trust my Wi-Fi at my hotel. I needed like a real studio. This is the real deal.
Are you
Wait, what?
not you're not an Angelino?
No, I live at I'm a St. Louisan.
So you
wanna
moved
hear
back to
about
St.
that.
Louis full time?
I did. I went back during
Wow.
COVID just to hang out with my parents and my family, and
Yeah.
then it lifted, and I was just like, no one even knows I'm here. I can just
Yeah.
go to LA, and people in LA think I'm in New York, and people in LA or New York think I'm in LA.
Isn't the crime rate huge there?
Yeah, in certain parts.
All right,
But
wonderful.
Oh,
yeah,
Wait,
we
Sean,
know.
like
I just
combing the
read
internet
that.
for
I just read that
No,
about
it
St.
is.
Louis.
We have the highest crime, but it's really
that
it's
can't
a-
be true.
Well,
That's got to be
is.
like a per capita qualifier.
Well, Nikki,
or
what's the
something
number
like that.
one crime that's going on there?
Probably carjackings and murder.
Okay.
Carjackings
Yeah.
and murder.
Well, I guess that's alarming.
It's not errors at third base. You know, you got that Nolan Ariando over there. You know,
There we go.
Good for you.
Yeah,
wow.
but it's you just gotta avoid parts of town. But it's a segregated city. It's not the greatest for that. So
Right.
you just
Really?
it's we still have issues in St. Louis.
Wow.
Can we revisit my lesson on Kansas
City,
Kansas City,
and Missouri.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I was in such, I
Dude,
was so
don't.
shamed by it. I went into
hard.
sort of a blackout, and I don't really remember what I learned. Just
don't
real
do
quick,
this to
no,
yourself.
it
To
should
know.
be fast. Kansas City is
Yeah.
in Kansas or in Missouri,
It's both.
so
Yeah.
it straddles the border between the two states. Is that
Yeah.
Oh
correct?
no, I thought there were two separate ones. No.
You see,
No.
Wait, I think there's two separate. Wait, I
Well,
don't
they're
even know.
separate, but they're kind of next. They're next to each other. They are.
They
Wait.
are. They really.
everybody sounds gray on this, just like me.
Yeah.
So I'm not so dumb.
It's confusing. I don't know if it's one that's separated, but I think they're separate. They have to be separate because they are in different. You can't have a city
boy.
cut in two.
Today,
Yeah.
Kansas
Can you
City,
not?
Kansas.
Maybe you can.
What about Minneapolis?
Wait,
It's
what?
not up there. It's not.
Okay,
up in
so
the
it says I just googled it. It says it
Okay,
remains
thank you.
two separately
They're
incorporated
right across
cities.
from each other. They are.
Wait, say it again, Sean.
It says it's two separately incorporated cities, but together, along with a number of other cities and suburbs, as part of the Kansas City metropolitan area.
Yeah, they're
Separately
right.
incorporated.
They're
That's-
next
So,
to
but
each
does
other.
is there a picture of it, Sean? Does it straddle the
Let
border?
me see.
Yeah.
And if so, like where?
partially
where
there's a river in between them, and then partially it just goes right down state lines. But it's
one
they're-
has
yeah.
the Chiefs and one has meth.
I don't know. I can't.
one
tell.
has meth, one has the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Well, wait, who has the Royals?
I think Missouri
They're
claims
both
that.
Missouri.
Yeah.
Missouri has the Royals.
Wait, no, it's Kansas. Wait, no,
I
no.
think Kansas
Yes,
claims
Missouri.
Oh my God.
It's Kansas City, Missouri is the one that's like everyone knows about. And
Yeah.
Kansas City,
It's-
Kansas is next to it.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
Right. So Kansas City, Missouri is for the Chiefs. Kansas City, Kansas is probably for the Royals. Correct?
Is that true, Sean?
Oh boy,
It's on the border.
Thank
Look, I
God
can't
we-
tell.
thank
Can
God
I
we
tell?
don't
Can I
have
tell you
like
something
that.
right now? I never learned how to read a map.
No, they both play. They also play in Missouri. Just for what it's worth, they all are in Missouri.
Okay.
It's Missouri, yes.
All right.
But it's on the other side. St. Louis is on one side and Kansas City is on the other. And I
Of
did
the
get
state,
started in
yeah.
comedy in Kansas City. So I should know. I went to school in Kansas at University of Kansas.
Oh, you
but I
went to
don't know
Lawrence.
these things. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not Kansas University though. Home of the
No.
Jayhawks.
Wait, no, it is.
No, it's University
of
of Kansas.
But they
Okay.
say KU. It's nothing makes
Everything's
sense
all
where I'm
fucked
from.
up over there.
I don't really like. I got to get out of there. I'm second
Yeah.
guessing everything.
Hey guys, can I just take a poll?
You mean this
do we
podcast,
Feel,
or-
do we feel satiated on this? Do we feel good?
Yeah, I
Can
feel
we
good
move
about it.
on? Or JB, how do you?
I'm still a little confused. I'm going to do a separate Google later.
Okay, good.
Nikki, obviously we want to get to the roast because it's interesting. You've talked about it ad nauseum, and you must be so fucking sick of it.
Well, it's not going to be boring to me because I haven't seen
neither.
it yet.
Okay.
Oh,
I
really?
s- I
Okay,
s-
good.
I saw it. You were incredible. I mean,
Yes.
it was
Sean, that's where I first
hysterical.
met you was on the Rob Lowe.
No,
Was that the-
but
no.
I made a big impression. It was the Alec Baldwin one,
Yeah.
clearly.
Yeah, the Alec Baldwin. Yes.
And
okay,
you said
sorry.
one of the funniest jokes about me, and I still repeat it today to
What did I
friends.
say?
You said it
Oh, no.
it was delivered perfect. You said, Sean Hayes, oh my gosh, Will and Grace was the best you could do. I love
You
this.
recycled that joke.
You did.
Jealous.
Yeah, because that's a good one that you can just use for
Use for
anything.
anybody,
I talk about I have a bit about my boyfriend, and we break up and date other people, and then I look back at him and I just think, oh my god, like after dating all these guys, I'm just like, he's the best I can do.
Right.
And that's it. So I've realized that
good
I've
joke.
recycled that one. Yeah,
It's a
that
good joke.
works.
But I fanned out on you backstage because I just think you're hysterical.
oh, it
and,
was such an.
and
when
isn't
you,
it
when you found
interesting-
out, that meant a lot to me.
Well,
I have to
thanks.
say.
But it's true. These roasts that they become a place to discover people. But I feel like you were already discovered. But for some
Yeah.
reason, this last one, everybody acts like they found you. But it's
Yeah.
but it's Nikki
Great.
Glaser. She's been around forever, and she's been brilliant forever. So what did that feel like? To be like, wait, I've been here. What are you guys all talking about?
I didn't feel that way. I kind of was like, yeah, I've never been like, when is everyone going to notice? And I just I really just take what comes to me, and I never really want to like fight for people to care about me. I want people to care about me on their own time.
Yeah.
So I've kind of been like, okay, when they do, and felt pretty relaxed about it. But this was I mean, it was insane. It was just like kind of an overnight thing that I never expected would happen in my career. I've always expected it just to be very slow and gradual. And I kind of liked the level of fame I had achieved. It's comfortable. I'm not that recognizable. My life isn't like disrupted by it ever, but there's some perks to it. And
But now it's changed.
I
sounds
want
perfect.
for nothing, and I'm just good. It's like I can say no to things if I want, but
Yeah.
now it's like it was a huge bump overnight, and I'm sure you guys have experienced that in your careers as well. And it's just
I've
where
had a
just
lot of
more
bumps.
people.
Jason, he's had a lot of bumps
That's
overnight.
right, yeah.
He took a lot of bumps.
Sometimes I put them all together and make a nice fat line.
Sure.
I remember
Wait, so
days.
Nikki,
got
do you
into
find
it.
like now you're at the airport and people are like, roast me, burn me.
Yeah.
They don't say that, thank God, because it would be so mean coming out right away. And sometimes I will go there, but no, thank God they don't do that. They just say, did we go to camp together? You know, that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
right.
Yeah.
Like, where
Yeah.
do I know you? Because I usually look like shit when I'm traveling. So I don't really look that
I don't buy
recognized.
that.
I really do not look the same.
I always steal that line that Dax said years ago, and I use it all the time. People go, when they have that moment of confusion, they go, I think I know you. And I go, yeah, I used to work at Subway around the corner. And they go,
Because everyone's frequented a Subway.
yeah,
now.
and they're like, maybe he made me a sandwich. Yeah, maybe this is the guy who
Yeah, that's so good.
seems old to be working in the
Don't
Subway.
you guys? The reason I've never seen a roast, I think, is because I
Too
get
cringy.
I get so tight because
I
I
get
think
it.
that poor person is going to have all these very good natured jokes, right? They're hard hitting jokes, but everybody knows the game here is that we're going to like say nasty things about it. But like for the most part, that person doesn't know these people, and so like
Yeah.
where do these? I just don't know how that goes down. Okay, for
Yeah.
the subject of
I
it.
think you can opt to not be a part of it, and when you opt to be
You
a
can
part
say
of it,
no to it,
Yeah.
sure.
You know
It's
that.
consent.
But can you say no to even to being there? Like basically not be attending your funeral effectively
No,
and just
no,
come,
no.
So you have
Oh,
to
I
be
don't
there.
think- I think
No,
you have to be there.
Yeah, that'd be
my God.
weird if you're like, hey, let's just have a night where we shit on so and so, and then he's knowing that he's at home, going like, what the fuck? Although it'd be pretty funny.
Yeah,
That would be
it
good.
But then the person has to like pretend to laugh the whole time and
Yeah.
pretend
Yeah.
to be kind of like
And
okay, like
your
that would-
feelings do get hurt. Like you can go in thinking, oh, they're only gonna go this far, and then they go further. I know I've seen it happen where they don't plan on you going there.
Yeah.
And they don't. They just.
and
think,
that's really the only way to get to the huge laughs too, is when it gets super uncomfortable, right?
Of
yes.
course.
And to say
Yeah.
that, like, I went some places on the Tom Brady roast that I thought other people would go to, and they didn't. And I was the only one that kind of said those names or brought up those subjects that were kind of sore for
Right.
him. And
Yeah.
and it is crazy. Like, I've seen old roast clips of, like, I don't like to watch myself, so when I come up on my own feed, I'm like, ugh, get out of here.
Right.
But when I was preparing for this roast, I was like, okay, try to channel what you've done in the past. You got to watch what people like about you. I don't even, I just do it and then I don't watch it again. So I'm just
Right.
like, watch it again and see what you bring to this, because it had been 4 years since I'd done one. So I watched one and I was like, who the fuck do you think you are saying
Yeah.
this to people?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
told Alec Baldwin all of this? Like, what? Like, I just didn't recognize this girl. And I'm like, she's got balls, but she's also like a psychopath. Like, I really didn't, I couldn't believe that I did it, but I was like, I guess I have to channel that again. And you really just, Tom Brady's just set in your periphery a little bit back enough that you can't really see him when you're performing.
Right.
So it helps.
Does anybody know if any of these roasts have ever gone wrong where the subject just like says, whoa, 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 fuck you, and
Well,
gets
I
up
read
and
the-
leaves?
I read the
Yeah.
Tom Brady thing, right? A little
Oh,
bit.
yeah.
I just
it was a
just
moment.
kind of read little blurbs. Was he upset? Do you know?
Yeah, there was
or-
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he he said that he, in hindsight, kind of regrets it. I don't really. He doesn't regret. He's glad he did it, but he didn't know that we would go some places. I don't really know how he feels about it, but I totally see what he means, because I think you go into these things thinking that you just don't know what people will dig up about you and see in you when they study you and look at your face that
But no one's ever gotten up and stopped it in the middle of it and just like left and just gotten pissed.
I think there was one joke at a Comedy Central one where it was like a Paul Walker joke that Ludacris was there and he's friends with him, obviously, and he got up and like walked off stage. I think there was, but they cut it later. I think there was something like that
Gotcha,
happened.
gotcha.
Yeah.
one of my favorite was, I don't know what happened to her. She was so funny. Lisa Lampanelli. She was really,
so
really
good.
funny. And
She quit.
She quit, yeah.
Did she really?
What happened?
She does like self-help talks now. So she's like a motivational speaker now. But she got out of it because she was like, it's too mean.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough, right?
She was
But
funny.
she was one of the best.
She was one of the best. She one of my favorite jokes that she said during the roast of William Shatner was she was going through his his credits, and she goes, "Remember TiVo when before DVRs there was TiVo?"
Yeah, we got it.
And it made if you liked something, it would suggest other things,
Yeah.
And so she goes up there and she goes, "Yeah, William Shatner, I tried to TiVo TJ Hooker once, and TiVo suggested I punch myself in the cunt."
See, that's great.
That's a great joke.
And you can handle it. It's been been off the air for a while. You can have some distance.
Right.
Hey, Sean, was Scotty just in a violent rage throughout the whole William Shatner roast? He didn't watch that,
he
right?
watched it. Yeah. No, he enjoyed
he
it.
wasn't
tremendously.
happy
And
about it.
Betty White was on the panel, and she got up and told really crass jokes. It was so funny to see Betty White tell crass jokes.
Yeah, I loved one of my old, from one of the early ones that was on Comedy Central years ago was something about Andy Dick. I forget who said it. It might have been Jeff Ross. I wouldn't fuck Andy Dick with B. Arthur's dick.
Yeah,
Is that what it was?
Yes.
It's a fucking
It was
great.
something like,
and then they
yes.
cut to B. Arthur like, what?
Yeah, the reaction shots are always the best.
Yeah.
That really sells it too, is that you got to have the person that you're making fun of when they're cutting to them live. That really will like make or break what people thought of your joke.
Right.
If they're laughing along.
We'll be right back.
All right, back to the show.
So how did you first get? Were they just like, hey, listen, who's got a really shitty disposition? Nikki Glaser.
Point of
Let's get
view,
her
yeah.
in here. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's really mean to people.
Yeah, it started early. Like I remember I wrote, jokes for people who were doing the roasts early on. And then Jeff Ross had a show called The Burn on Comedy Central, and I had a show on Comedy Central at the time. So they threw me on that, and I had a really good showing on that. I just knew it was a place that I would really excel, and I needed to prove myself to Comedy Central for them to even consider me. So I worked really hard to do that TV show, and I did a great showing. And then people don't really want to do roasts. So it's like, they probably asked Whitney Cummings that year. They asked Amy Schumer. And then they, Natasha Leggero, and they probably didn't want to do it. And so they called up me, and last minute, you get booked like a week before, and you go, okay. And then you have a good one, and then they ask you back the next time. And every time I kind of go, I don't know if I want to do this because it's so much work. And I would always have like a mental breakdown right before it and think, what am I doing? I'm going to bomb, and like cry and have panic attacks about it. I don't know if you guys relate to that, where you like say yes to things and then you do them and you go, I'll never do this again.
JB, tell her our rule that Matt Damon taught us.
What?
Which is and
you should
Ben,
apply this.
actually.
Well, it was Ben who told Matt but he said, if somebody asks you to do something, and you can start using this from this moment forward, Nikki, if somebody asks you to do something,
like 2 months down the line,
hey, like 6 months, come and show up at this thing, ask yourself, would I want to do it tomorrow?
Oh, that's so good.
If you don't want to do it tomorrow, say no.
It's unbelievably effective.
Yeah.
You know what? I would go, do you want to do it now?
Sure.
Because even tomorrow, sometimes I'm like, I'll be different tomorrow. But I'm always, that's such a great, but this though, I need time to prepare, so I don't know how to answer that,
Yeah.
If someone asks me, I always want to do it because I'm like, the exposure, the potential of it, and then you get in it, and it's like destroying my relationships, destroying my life. It's making me self-doubt all the time, and then it's over, and I'm like, that was the greatest. I can't wait to do it again. And then everyone in my life goes, what do you mean you want to do that again? But this time around, I actually implemented a system where I was happy the whole time, and I know how to do it now, and I can't wait to do it again. But the 3 before destroyed my life.
I totally relate to that, and obviously none of us, the 3 of us, is a stand-up. But anytime I'm asked to kind of go and host something, charity thing or whatever, or
So much work.
A, it's a lot of work, but B, every single time I do it, I become a bigger and bigger grouch leading up to the day, leading up to the moment, and I'm fucking in the worst place. And then you do it, and and it works, and you're like, that was fucking great. And everybody in your life is like,
Yes.
fuck, man, you were a dick for the last 2 weeks.
Yes. It's the dread.
Every time.
People have told me that no one hates what they are going to do more than you. all the time. And then when I do it, even when I'm like about to go, when I'm on stage with a microphone, having the time of my life, unless I'm like like unless something's totally wrong. But as soon as I'm performing, I'm in it, I'm doing great, but dread constantly up until that moment. And I think that's just, I don't know, the way it goes.
Nikki, do you allow yourself to think, because you were saying earlier that you're really happy with where you find yourself, like you've got the right amount of, you've got an amount of relevance that you really enjoy, but also a nice amount of anonymity where you still, you can go to the grocery store, et cetera, et cetera. Do you allow yourself to think forward, a year, 5 years, 10 years? Do you allow yourself to think about goals and stuff like that? Where do you want to go? Do you know?
No, and I want to ask you guys about it too. Do you have goals, or do you just keep saying yes to things as you go?
And see where it takes you?
I kind of just say yes to where it takes me. And
if you look at my credits, you'd see that I say yes to a lot of shit.
We do a lot of switchbacking, we don't go right up the hill.
This is for another podcast, but I'm a freak about goal setting and writing them down and all that.
You
stuff.
are
For years and years and years.
Are you teasing a new podcast
what's
right
the
now,
new
Sean?
podcast?
What's it called?
This sounds exciting.
Can we be a part of it?
Are we producing it with you?
No.
Sean is a taskmaster. He's just like, our joke is, Sean takes, like, if an email comes to the three of us about some sort of business thing, within 12 seconds before he thinks of his answer, he's responded.
Wow.
Yeah, I like to just check it off my list, though. I don't like to have anything in my inbox. I'm just
me too. I have an absolutely clean inbox.
Really?
Yeah.
They don't keep any, and I'm like, I need 24 hours to think about it. I'm like, I'm not answering.
And then someone
you.
needs to text me, hey, you need to respond to that email.
Yeah. That's what I do.
My email has just moved to texting. Yeah.
But Nikki, so for like the goalless thing, since I'm like 22, 23 years old, I've been writing down goal lists, and they're stream of conscious goal lists. Like I'll write down on paper, I'll go 1, 2, 3, and I'll just number it as they come in my head. And there's the stupidest things like, I got to lose 5 pounds. I got to visit my mom more. I got to make, I got to connect with this person about this project.
You can cross that one off, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. My mom passed away. So, my mom died like 4 or 5 years ago. It's hilarious.
Oh, anything in there about your dad's license plate?
I didn't say it wasn't sad.
Yeah, no, it's very sad, but
I'm just saying
we got to
that's
laugh.
one less thing that you have to do.
Right. But anyway, so I would do all these things, and then at the bottom I put lifetime goals. This is like when I was 22, 23. I'm like, I want to host Saturday Night Live. I want to be on David Letterman. I want this, blah, blah, blah. And I went to therapy like years ago, and he goes, don't tell me a catastrophe happened. I go, what? He goes, they all came true. I go, yeah, every single thing on my list came true. And that's what so I got real depressed because it was
then
bad.
what's
Yeah,
the
what do you
point?
do next,
Yeah,
right?
what's the point of living?
So then
Do you make
have
new ones?
Yeah, so then
buy a rope, buy a chair, find a beam, throw the rope,
A sturdy
throw the
beam,
rope over
Scratch.
the beam,
Sturdy
kick the
beam.
chair out.
Regret it immediately. Try to get the rope off to no avail.
Regret it immediately.
And as I'm doing it, I'm still checking it off. I'm like, okay, the
Try
rope's
to yell
on,
to
check,
Scotty,
check.
but my windpipe
With
is.
your toe on the desk.
By the way, Sean, I noticed Sean something about the way that you described. You sounded like you were from Brooklyn or something. You go, since I'm 22. What's like that? Since I'm 22 years old.
Yeah. So anyway, and he said the most obvious thing in the world, but it isn't obvious until you hear somebody say it. He was like, "Well, you just got to make new ones," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess I just got to keep thinking."
But then I've been trying to manifest stuff, and I'm doing these manifest meditations where it's like, just picture your life with the thing you want.
Yeah.
Feel that it's already happened, and then you drift off to sleep, and you try to get the feeling, not that you're doing the thing, but that you live in a world in which this is what you do. It's already happened.
What is he, like Esther Hicks?
It's what is his name? Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard. That's how everyone says his name on the YouTube. But yeah, please help.
Yeah, no, here's a crazy story I have really fast if these guys will let me tell it. So it's
Fuck, man. Are you going back to back?
Yeah. Yeah. And then that's it. And I'll stop
B2B? You went B2B already? All right, go ahead.
B2B.
I thought we left you on the beam.
Do you not know how to take a hint?
Left you on the beam.
Still writing my goals down.
Just the sound of a rope.
So anyway, when I was a kid, I was obsessed with the show Soap. Do you remember the show Soap?
Yeah.
One of the great sitcoms.
Okay, so in the opening credits, when they used to rehash the whole story of the show in the opening credits over and over every week, they would say, these are the Tates and these are the Campbells. And then, and blah, 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 blah. And this is soap, right? And so these are the Tates, these are the Campbells. The Tates were the rich family, the Campbells were the poor family, or, you know, the lower middle class, whatever. So the Tates, they would show this establishing shot of this beautiful house, this brick house in this gorgeous neighborhood. I was like, oh my God, I grew up shit poor. Nothing, you know, everybody knows my story. So then I was like, I would race to the TV every week to watch that opening. I was obsessed with this house. So about 7, 8 years later, Scotty and I had a few to drink, and we're going down a rabbit hole on YouTube of old openings of like 80s, 90s sitcoms. You know, we saw Jason's, we saw like whatever, you know, like Facts of Life and whatever, the Hogan Family and
So
like
fun,
Dallas
yeah.
and like, you know, all of them. And I was like, oh, Scotty, we have to YouTube the opening credits of Soap. I was obsessed with this house as a kid. So we opened it and we're like, these are the Tates and these are the Campbells. And the house right behind mine.
Oh my
No,
God.
really?
Swear to God.
This stuff is
No.
real. That you
Yeah.
can.
I mean, I was a child.
The manifesting
attention
things.
to
Well,
things.
but so then if Nikki, if you're manifesting, then you are allowing yourself to dream a little bit of the future, yeah. And
Yes.
what does it look like?
That's what I'm struggling with is like I kind of like the way things are, and so I have an apartment. I don't own a home, and so I'm like, you know what, I should own a home. So let me just visualize the home I'm in, and then I think about like we got to get these cabinets redone, and then I'm like, oh, I got to call someone. Like I'm living in it, and then I go, I got to call the landscaper. Like there's so
Right.
much work that starts happening. I go, I don't want this house. Like take me back to my apartment. So I'm kind of like. I just really like the way things are now. So I
That's great.
feel, but I have
That's
goals of
okay.
like,
Yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah, I love
you
that.
know, SNL I think is a good goal, like hosting SNL. That's a great
Yeah.
goal for
That's going to happen
You
in the
should.
fall.
celebrity
Yes,
person.
that should
That's happening in
It's
the fall.
happened, right?
Yeah.
It's yes.
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
I think it's
Have they approached
it's
you?
happened. I think it's not yet, but
There's
there's been
whispering.
talks. There's
Yes,
whispering.
they should
I
get
think
you,
that's
yeah.
There's no way that it's
imminent.
not happening. Just knowing how that shit goes and what's out there, there's no way that they're not asking
Right.
you this fall. Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, so it's
that's-
happened.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
that.
And I don't. Yeah.
I'm that's already manifested. So I don't know what's next. But what about Will and Jason? Do you guys goal it up?
I do. I mean, I sort of keep an eye on where I'd like to maybe be headed towards, but it's not that specific. It's just I just want to be challenged with stuff that is right at the edge of what I'm able to handle.
Yes.
And I know
Same,
that there's
yeah.
going to be a day soon where I'm like, fuck this, throttle back and just relax.
Yeah.
And so I know that's going to come. So while I'm actually feeling this fuel, why not let it go? You know,
I feel
let
exactly
it,
the same way.
drive
Yeah.
towards it.
Yeah,
I think that's good.
I do the same thing, Nikki, that you do, which is, and sometimes I do it super consciously, and I actually set out to do it. But I do the same thing of sort of manifesting, and I find that I do kind of manifest in real time most of the time, and it's been super, super, super effective for me. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
And I think I did it. That's when I was in high school, I used to just tell my friends, I used to be obsessed with Dave Matthews, and my friends all were too.
Sure,
And I would say,
sure.
I'll just like meet him someday and like get to, I'm going to tell him like how I feel. And they were like, how would you meet him? And I'm like, well, I'm going to be famous. And they were like, what? They just like, I remember their incredulousness of like that I thought that. And it was so obvious to me that that's what's going to happen and that I'll be in his sphere.
I had the same thing about Letterman. I used to think when I used to watch Letterman at night when I was a kid, like in the 80s, like in high school, and I'd watch him at 12:30, and I'd think like, I bet you Letterman's going to think I'm really funny. and it
And
worked
he
out.
does, yeah.
And he
Yes,
does. And it
of
worked
course he
out.
does.
And yeah, that kind of shit. Maybe that's sort of dumb confidence of youth. I don't know, but
Nikki, do you want to pursue? I know you've done tons of acting stuff, but is that important to you to pursue that lane as much as stand up and everything else?
Yes and no. I mean, I think that's what I started pursuing initially in high school when I was like, how am I gonna meet Dave Matthews? I gotta get.
Yeah,
That was my real goal of like being on TV. Is that's the only way I could be in his sphere. And when I met him, I said the word sphere several times. I
my God.
tried to be in your sphere. It was really embarrassing.
Well, where did that? Were you living with was your family super encouraging of your humor, and like was mom and dad funny? Were your siblings like, where did the confidence come from that like, oh, you know, if I think of something funny, I should share it because that usually works out?
That did not come until way later. So I was like, okay, I'll be an actress. And I was not getting the parts in school plays. And I didn't even go to like a theater school. So it was like, I was getting townsperson B and stuff. So I was getting feedback like, this isn't for you, like to act. And so I was
not even townsperson A.
always B. And I would think I would get the lead. And then I'd be at the bottom of the list and I would cry. And then I go, I guess I'll go do field hockey. And it was terrible at sports. So I was like, didn't really, but I was so depressed that it wasn't going to work out. I had auditioned for theater school, didn't get in anywhere. And I was really like, I guess I'll just like have to kill myself. Like I really was thinking that, because what's the point of living if you're not going to be on TV and performing in some way? But I had no way to do it. I just thought acting's the only way. I had no idea there were other things. I didn't even look into it. I knew I couldn't sing or dance.
What did your parents do? What did your parents do?
My dad's in the cable business, and my mom was just a homemaker. And so they were always supportive. And I come from a really funny family, and they have great taste in comedy. So I was always consumed. My dad like introduced me to Conan when I was in like 8th grade, and I was like, you got to check out this show. And then that changed my life. And Seinfeld I was obsessed with, and Friends. I loved comedy, but I wasn't, stand-up didn't do much for me. I just wasn't even paying attention to it. And then I went to college, and I was like, long story short, I had like a terrible eating disorder, because I was pretty much like, I just want to die. My life sucks and nothing's going the way I want it to. And I have to go to college and figure out what do I want to do for a living, but I don't want to do anything except perform, and I'm not good at that. And everyone tells me I'm not good at it. Like I was taking voice lessons to be a singer, and my voice teacher like took my mom aside and said, this is a waste of your money. She doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Like I was getting,
Your mom said that?
Oh, you poor baby.
the voice teacher said to my mom.
Yeah.
And so I just was so discouraged. And then I just got an eating disorder that I was like, oh, I'll just die of this. And I really wanted to. I was really like slowly just dying. And then I was hospitalized. It was right after high school, and I was going off to college. I was hospitalized over the summer, and then I, needed to get out of there. And so I lied, and I was like, I just got to go away to college, and then I can like kind of die off alone without people monitoring what I'm eating.
Oh my God, Nikki,
like,
this is awful.
It's so sad. It's so sad. But I really was like, what's the point? I just didn't know what the point of life would be if I wasn't a performer. Because I feel like my parents really pay attention to TV in a way that I always wanted to be paid attention to. And I think that's why I wanted to get on TV, was to that, even though they love me so unconditionally, I just didn't feel it. The way that I was just a very sensitive child. Anyway,
How did you overcome that moment?
How did they prove that they loved you? Sorry, go ahead.
They proved they love. They're still working on it, but I have theories that they do. But the love seems to amp up a little bit when I, bring them to the Tom Brady roast and have a show. There's a little bit more of text messages from my mom of "I've always loved you." Like final. Okay.
Oh wait, that's really what an
more
interesting.
than your father does.
And we will be right back.
And now, back to the show.
Nikki, what an interesting story. How did you overcome that enormous hump from high school to college?
You just touch bottom and then
I was like ready to fucking go. Every night I would be like, please die in your sleep, because I was just hungry all the time. And it's like, you know what it's like to be hungry, Jason. And so it's like
now she's going.
Look at
now she's cooking.
the fucking time. You dabble in the EDs. And so
it's not enough though.
In the EDs.
And so it's I was waiting for that to like just end it, because I was cold all the time. I was hungry. I looked insane, so I couldn't really make friends, because everyone's just like, this girl is like a skeleton who looks so weird and looks so brittle, and I was about to die, and my hair's falling out, and I'm at my freshman year of college. I don't have any friends, and I need to make some. So I just turned up my personality a lot. Just because I looked so crazy that I needed, the only way to make friends was to be larger than life.
Right.
And so I started being funnier. I just it just was an adaptive trait.
You made yourself funny.
I did, because no one would like me otherwise. And then all of my friends, I got friends because I was funny and really outgoing. And all my friends would say, God, when we first saw you, we were like, who is that girl? And then we kind of forgot that you looked like that, because people would go to my friends and be like, we're really worried about her. And they'd be like, we don't even know what you're talking about, because I did really just overcompensate for how sick I was with my personality. And that's when people started going, you should be a stand-up comedian.
Wow.
And once I heard that, I go, okay, what's that? Okay. I mean, I knew what it was, but then I Googled it, And I saw Sarah Silverman, and then that changed my world. And that was like, okay, I'll just do that.
I was going to say, what was the thing that inspired you to, as you said, turn it up? What was the thing where, I know your hair was falling out, was you kind of rock bottom,
Yeah.
but what made you?
I didn't want to be made fun of. I wanted to be the first to make the joke about how thin I was, or what. I wanted to be so extraordinary, my personality, that no one would notice how scary I looked or how concerning. And so I think that was it. You know, like the fat kid in school can be the class clown, or I had never experienced that before, where my looks like made people talk about me and whisper about me and make fun of me. I always just in high school wanted to just disappear. I didn't want boys to make fun of me. I just was so scared of any attention. I wanted attention on stage when I told you could.
Right.
But I really was like, people from high school are just like, you are a comedian? Like, I just kind of was... I didn't make big waves in high school, but and then when I turned it up, that's when people started telling me that. And then as soon as I looked into it, I was like, oh, of course this is it. I'm like writing comedy. I love comedy. And then acting, the thing I found hard was like being someone else. I really think it was just, I was always trying to run away from who I was. And I finally found something that celebrated. I could say the weirdest things and the darkest things that I was ashamed of into a microphone, and then people like me more because of the things that I hate the most about myself.
Oh yeah, but it's
so
honest.
that was really cool.
It's honesty.
Yeah,
It's
honesty.
authentic. Yeah.
Which is the reason that mental illness exists, is because people aren't being honest. And so that really helped me heal.
But you
Right.
did. But you. The one thing that you did not generate overnight was, I mean, you're obviously really smart, and so that is something that you probably sort of saved you in the end from a lot of stuff, was that you're not a dummy. You're really bright. By the way, you lost Sean when you said hungry all the time. Sean looked so confused. He's like, what do you mean? But
I'm never hungry. I'm never hungry.
So then you found then that the thing that was bumming you out internally was actually material, and that is like it actually becomes an asset to you, and that vulnerability is one of the huge keys to comedy. You know, you got to pull your pants down a little bit. There's nothing funny about no problems.
Just say the honest thing, and people can't even believe you're saying it, because most people aren't honest at that level. And so whenever I'm on stage and I'm trying a new bit and it's not going well, and I've kind of lost the audience and they know that I know, I just like, my trick for that is just to stop and just say the honest thing.
Yeah, because
like,
and it's so healing, and you can't lose.
and you just go, that bombed.
Yeah.
And you guys don't like me anymore.
Right.
And then they laugh.
And also be
great.
revealing too in that way, and be vulnerable. And JB and I have often said there's nothing funny about a six pack. In that, like being, you know what I mean? Like that's it's just not fucking funny.
Exactly.
So who gives a fuck?
But look how quick Will Ferrell takes his shirt off. It's fucking works
It's
every
so
time. I
good.
fucking love him for it.
But that's the struggle, though, because I also want to be hot. Like, listen, we're all funny, but we all care about looking aesthetically.
I mean, look at this Henley. Did you get a good look at the Henley?
I've heard about this Henley.
Look at that drapes.
Did Amanda buy that for you?
She did.
It's good.
Okay.
But yeah, we all care about what people think of, like how we look. And then people go, but you're funny. You don't need to care. And it's like, well, it is a part of it. And it's honestly, I'm being honest when I say I'm insecure about my looks, so that's still part of it for me. I can't help that I do care about my looks, even though you don't need to. You're not a
First of all,
model. Stop saying that.
everybody
I think you're
does,
super
and
cute.
everybody does, in no matter what job. And Sean's right, you are super cute. But think about it this way, because of the very nature of what you do, people comment, and we live in a world now where we see those comments and we hear that stuff so much more readily. So of course, it makes sense that you'd be, when people say that. I remember years ago, some friends, from Toronto I grew up with, they're like, "Oh fuck, Willie, all you actors, you guys just care about how you look." I'm like, yeah, because everybody's talking about it when you do something. They go, "Fuck, you look like."
By the
shit."
way, I got an on-camera job.
Yeah, I got an on-camera shot.
Okay.
And people go like, "Fuck, man, that guy Arnett looked like shit in that thing." You're like, "Oh, thanks a lot, man."
Yeah.
They will say in the comments. It's insane that there are comments under every single clip or video or picture that is of you. David Spade told me a while ago. He was like, back when I did the Hollywood Minute during Weekend Update,
brutal.
that was the only time celebrities got like mocked. Mercilessly for like a minute. That was the only time that celebrities were being made fun of ever, because it was
Stern
just
used to do it a bit right before that,
Right. Yeah. Okay, so there's like 2 outlets for it. And now it's all people do.
I will say I like the way that you've offset it, and I was going to bring this up before when you talked about that you moved back to St. Louis. We had somebody on recently who moved back to the Midwest, and it's made me long for. I don't know why. Recently, I've really longed for not living on either coast. I've had this sort of dream. It makes me feel kind of good because there
Small
is
town.
something. Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit. There's something kind of.
Yeah, but what's that quote? Doesn't matter where you go, there you are.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like you're gonna feel the same no matter where you go.
I agree.
That is true.
Yeah, I'm not looking at it as a remedy for how I'm necessarily feeling. I'm just talking about my day-to-day experience. Like, what do I want that experience
Your
to
environment,
be?
yeah.
Yeah, you just want to get carjacked a little. Yeah, in the Midwest.
desperate to be.
I get what you mean. Well, the reason I like it is because if I'm in New York or LA, I can do a set every single night and I can feel like I'm not doing enough. And I could be doing a set tonight and getting stronger. And I could be doing a podcast. But in St. Louis, there's nothing much going on. So I feel like it's just kind of an escape. I'm a workaholic and I lock up my liquor on the coast and I go and I can go get it if I can get a key and like deliberately go get it. But it's not just waiting for me in my room in St. Louis. I kind of am away from work and don't have to drive myself crazy with it.
Right.
And I can forget that all that stuff matters. When you really are in New York and LA, you get sucked into the machine of like, you got to do more. It's not enough. And comparing yourself more, even though they're all waiting for you on Instagram to compare yourself to, I feel it more here, which is good sometimes. When I was doing the roast, I was like, I'll go to LA for a month and a half before that to get in the zone of like, competitiveness and running my set every night and like feeling like I'm not enough and needing to prove myself. But I couldn't do that in St. Louis. I couldn't just like fly and do the roast. I would have come with this like Midwest ease. I needed to come in like strong and insecure.
What's your day-to-day like in St. Louis then, if you're not working?
Like wake up, I go into my podcast room, which is next to my bedroom, do a podcast. Then I go to a Pilates class. Then I go to Starbucks and pretend to write. And then that whole thing where you open up your laptop and then you just.
That's a whole thing that I love. I love.
Yeah.
Are you working?
You guys are too famous to do that now. That's the fame I don't want to be, is like where I can't go to Starbucks still and just sit and
Careful.
in a coffee
Here
shop.
It comes.
Yeah.
It's
here it
coming.
Oh,
I gotta really enjoy it while I got it. But yeah, I just sit there and online shop, and then I go back home and play my guitar a little bit, and then I go to a voice lesson. I'm still trying to be a singer, so and then I go hang out with my parents, hang out with my niece and nephews, and then
And that acting desire you said, or it just sort of atrophied way back when, and there's no desire there at all?
No, there totally is. I think that it would be so fun to do it, but
I bet you'd be
being on
great.
set is really exhausting and boring sometimes.
Being on set can be very boring, exactly. But
and on the road is easy for me. I don't even have to think about it. I just walk on stage.
But also just the creative difference of an actor has to fit lines that were written before they come
hard.
in. So your job is to fit a pre-existing character in line. As a stand-up, it's the total opposite. You are already there, and then you're writing lines to fit you. And
that's what I like about it.
Yeah, okay. Right.
But what about I always wait till the last second for everything. So that doesn't work in acting. You can't be just like, binging your lines right before and memorizing them. I'm sure sometimes that is the way it has to happen, but there's a lot of preparation and forethought that goes into being an actor and preparing. And I feel like as a stand-up comedian, as long as I'm just showing up as myself, I can get the job done. Like I don't like a lot of review. I don't like a lot of rehearsal. I don't like to critique myself because then I start to see the flaws. So with stand-up, I'm just like, I can just be in a conversation and just, with someone and be like talking about something really sad and crying, and then walk on stage and do it, and then walk off and get right back to it. I don't have to like get in a zone. It just seems like a lot of work. And now I would get jobs where I'm acting against people like you guys who have been doing it so long, and I'd feel like I'm not good enough, and their self-doubt would come in.
Well, we'd be judging you, but
you should.
And Sean would have a spare rope and chair for you if things went wrong.
Always standing by. Always standing by.
Yeah. Well, I think you could do whatever you wanted, and certainly now you could, but you probably I suspect you always could have. And
yeah, leave yourself open for all of it, because you
please do.
seem incredibly dynamic and
thanks.
well-suited for
I would
all
love to do it.
opportunities.
Yeah, I'm so happy for your success. I want to see you doing more stuff. You're so naturally funny and so funny.
Yes.
And what I also love about it is maybe you do on some of your podcasts and stuff, but you don't seem to have fallen in the trap yet of a lot of stand-ups who seem to be obsessed with talking about breaking down stand-up, which I'm like, fucking
God, I'm so
enough.
bored by it.
Some of these older
Isn't it
stand-up,
awful?
I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Who do you
cares?
think you are? Who
Who the
cares?
fucking
What does that mean?
cares?
Breaking down stand-up? You mean like
Oh,
talking
they're
loud
like
about
the
it?
science behind it. You
No, the science behind it, what they think about stand-up and how they do, and they only talk to other stand-up. I'm like, shut up, man.
No,
Who
I
fucking
like, don't
cares?
apologize for a joke and cancel culture. I'm
Yeah,
just really
cancel
not
culture.
that interested in
Yeah.
that stuff either. And I think that we like to pat ourselves. And, every artist likes to pat themselves on the back, like they change the world. But and some of it does. But I don't know. I kind of just fell into it, and it fits me. But I don't think of it as. Stand-ups are like above other.
No,
I think sometimes we have to think that because we feel so less than, and that's why we do stand-up, is because we didn't fit in any of the other ones.
I can see that, but like all of us are just out here trying to figure it out. And so when people start breaking it
Their
down as though
process.
we're a process and as though we're a science.
Oh, right.
Anyway.
But when people ask me about the process, it's always like, how do you write it? I think it's the same for most comedians. It's just you say something funny in conversation, and then you go, oh, I should maybe do something about
Right,
that. And then you take
right.
out your phone, and the conversation comes to a halt, and everyone waits for you. And you go, "What? Wait, exactly how did I say it?"
Right.
And then they tell you, and then you ruin the moment.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
and then I'm in the wings of the show before the show, kind of going like, "What should I do tonight?" I'm kind of sick of my act as it is. Like maybe I'll look through, and I go, "Oh, okay, maybe I'll throw that in." And then
Right.
it just kind of happens on stage, but it's a lazy
Right.
But you're super funny.
I'm doing
and
the only thing I've ever been good at.
You're the top of the game. Honestly, I could
Oh,
just watch you do
thanks.
stand-up all the time. You're really
Thanks,
awesome, and
man.
you're very generous to have come
Yeah,
here.
and someone who's been a fan
kidding
as
me?
long as I have, to see you finally get this kind of recognition, like
It's awesome.
one level. Yeah, for sure.
It's
It's
really,
well,
really
being on
awesome.
SmartLess is a huge deal to
Oh,
me.
yeah.
You guys
Oh, yeah.
You've done
Are
us a
so-
huge
Look at
favor.
us.
Thank you.
Bunch of clowns.
fucking funny. And your show was so good. And talk about vulnerability. I mean, that's what we all want that from our celebrities? Like, I've always just wanted to see how they are. I used to love the stars are just like us kind of things. I used to really do love that. And that's what I think podcasts have given us, is that conversational quality, and we get to really know you. And some actors stink and they're not interesting at all in conversation. But you guys don't, you're so fucking funny. And I'm just
you're infectious with your
Yeah,
very,
yeah.
very clean, honest sort of energy coming out of you is really
thanks.
kind of
We're
cool.
droll in moments. You're funny. So,
no, you guys are
thank you, Nikki.
hilarious, all
Thanks,
of you.
Nikki. It's so good to see you.
So good to see
Yeah.
you too. Thank
You too. Thanks, Nikki. Oh my God, Nikki Glaser.
Nikki Glaser!
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Nikki.
Thanks, Nikki.
Have a great
Bye.
rest of the
Thank
day.
you.
Bye,
All
sweetie.
right. Bye.
How great is Nikki Glaser?
Yeah, that was super fun.
I'm embarrassed to say that's my first experience with her. Wow, what a
Only
force.
my second.
I'm a huge fan of hers already.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's super,
She's really
super
cool.
amazing.
I love what she said, because even on here, she's just brutally honest about everything and how she feels and her opinions. And I think that's what people are drawn to. Yeah.
And she's got specials on Netflix that I can like immediately pull
she's
up.
got
and-
special
yeah,
on
she's got
HBO and
everywhere.
Comedy Central.
Central,
Dude,
yeah.
she's an absolute,
nice.
just like
Okay.
comedy megastar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
really
and,
taken
and
by
just
her.
and not just because of her level, but just also how funny she is. She is
Yeah.
profoundly funny. So good.
Yeah.
And my buddy, great Bob Castrone used to work with her too. That's how he kind of really turned me on to her about 5 years ago. He
Yeah.
was like, Nikki Glazer's the funniest. He wrote with her for a long time. And
I bet she would be great in movies, and she doesn't need to like
should be amazing.
act. You know,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's like five
Just to
people
be-
that act. Most of us just play versions of ourselves, and I'd
Yeah.
love to see a million different versions of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet
Yeah.
she'd be great.
Me
I agree.
too.
No, she's a really nice, and which is so funny because she does these roasts, which can be so super cutting and stuff, and she's actually like a super nice, kind person, she's cool.
Sean, do you have a
Sean,
bio
are you
you're working on?
frozen? What's
Yeah,
going on?
he's
No.
just trying.
I'm
He's shuffling through buy ideas.
It's
Look at
so
No, I'm
fucking.
not.
He's got the worst poker face.
Sean,
Look, I wasn't. I was just biding my time.
why would you waste it?
Oh.
Was that? Wait, yeah. Did you just
Wait.
like
Why'd you
barely
waste
float
it?
that one up there?
You
was
were like all of a
I
sudden you were
was-
having a coma.
I
You were in
was-
a coma, and then
no,
you,
I was biding my time.
Yeah,
What's
but can we-
happening?
Let's cut and
Bye.
re-roll. Let's.
It's a good one.
It's very
It's
good. I just
great,
wish
but
you
why
would have
did
just
you
owned it.
I was
instead
setting
of
you up.
Apologized for it.
Why didn't you just?
You're just sitting there, and we
Were
noticed
you
it's
looking at your
Sean.
list? He was looking at a list that he had on his
Exactly.
computer of
Yeah,
buys.
old
too.
standbys.
I just,
Guys, I found one.
Fucking
No,
fuck! What
this
is
is a
happening?
nightmare. Will, can you take us out like we should? You got anything?
Well,
we just had two good ones.
I actually do have a book of all the great buys that I want to use, and I call it my buy Bible.
Oh, okay. That'll do. That'll
Bible.
do. We'll see you at the next one.
SmartLess.
SmartLess is 100% organic and artisanally handcrafted by Bennett Barbaco, Michael Grant Terry, and Rob Armjarf.
SmartLess.